the noble majesty of the Bedouin tribesmen. A people at peace with the simplicity of the desert, a civilization whose origins are lost in the mists of time. Here in the United Arab Emirates, they file the Bible under modern fiction.
This, of course, is all very interesting, but we're here because this is the world capital of Speed. There was a time when the Arab was a bit flash. Back in the nouveau riche days, he'd buy an Escort Cosworth like this and change the headlamps for chandeliers. He had absolutely no taste whatsoever, but he had a wad like a skyscraper and he wanted the rest of the world to know it. However, those days are long gone.
I changed the engine and I changed the suspension and the tires, the rings, and completed the exhaust system and the steering also.
So how many horsepower does it produce now?
Now it is 420 horsepower.
Do you ever feel the temptation, because these lovely quiet roads, do you ever feel tempted to come out here and see how fast it'll go?
No, I didn't try that.
Are you lying?
No, sure I'm talking, because, I mean, the power that is in the car is very difficult in the top speed to be controlled.
Difficult to control, eh? Well, that must make this little lot a right old handful. What we have here is an F40, an F50, a Porsche 959 and an XJ220, four of the rarest, fastest cars in the world, and they all belong to one man. So what's the big thing in the Arab mentality that makes you want to go so fast?
I think it is in us for so many years. I mean, to do with the horses mainly, because a horse at that time, it's not just a transport thing that we use, but it's mainly of speed. You get there faster. And then races has been here for generations, and it's a big sport here.
So do you get out there and give these cars some stick?
Sometimes you have to. I mean, otherwise, why do I buy them for? People tell me that, okay, this is not the place for them. You have to go to south of France and maybe in America and you enjoy them. In a way, yes, but I don't think you can really enjoy the cars. If people are looking to show off and then to go after girls, maybe that's the place. But if you are looking after using them and really enjoying them, I think our place is suitable, more suitable for them.
Is this a big car culture out here? I mean, when you drive these cars down the street, are the kids really enthusiastic, as they are in Italy, say?
Sometimes because of my fame here as a rally driver, they know me by the face more than just the car. And I mean, I remember a few incidents that just leaving from the gate of my house, there were about 4 guys with Skylines, this Nissan Skylines, and they were about 18 years old, if not younger, and red cars also. And they wanted to race me, and they took me about for the next 20 miles. They were beside me, making circles around me. And they begged me to race. And I said, that's not the place. But at the end, I knew I had to do something. So then I blasted the car, and then they were happy, and then they left.
Okay, let's just say, Mohammed, you woke up in the morning, the sun's shining, it's a weekend, you've got nothing on, and you've got to go for a blast, yeah? Which one of these cars are you going to take?
If the weather is right, I think I'll take the F50.
This is the ultimate then, is it?
Yes, to me, is these cars they give me. Sometimes, you know, people, rich people, I'm not that rich, but rich people, very rich people, maybe, what is enjoyment to them? Okay, you die, I don't think you have pockets in your coffin.
Yeah.
So you're not going to take it. So enjoy it. I think the power also is derived to the wheels in a nice, very nicely. So you don't get this of sudden impact in you, or it catch you when you are not really ready for it. Let's give it a blast. Oh my.
Okay, we're running down about 100 miles an hour. What we've got here is a top deck which is like an aeroplane wing. It's brought the hull out of the water, so only 2 hulls out of the water. And it's Saeed's job to make sure that it stays trimmed just like this.
It's my job to keep the 1,800 horsepower projectile in a straight line. Not easy, as by now we're doing 130 miles an hour. What is it with these guys?
I don't think we're the only Arabs that, or the only people that love speed. A lot of people worldwide, they love speed.
But you find more people here who seem to be just completely addicted to it than anywhere else.
Well, it's something that is with, got to do with a little bit of, a lot of pride, and then we have a winning team, and we use this win to, promote our country.
This grid is for real. You can forget cars now, forget them. They're all dull, they're all tedious. This is it.
I've always known that boats provide the best high-octane fun, but that was before they introduced me to the desert.
2, second gear, third gear, we're now up to 80 kilometres an hour. Stop to get real edgy out here. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. If at first you don't succeed, sod it.
The onset of night eventually forces everyone to go home. And that's when the real fun starts. One volunteer acts as a decoy to lure the police away, and then everyone else on the equivalent of the M6 goes bonkers. Must sound a constant and very irritating buzzer every time your speed exceeds 72 miles an hour. However, cunningly, I've got round the problem by taping the computer selector stalk down. It's now so busy trying to find a limit, it doesn't sound a buzzer at all. The authorities have fought back with a wide selection of speed bumps. But thanks to the Range Rover's superb air suspension, I can simply glide over them as though they're not there. Oh my. This isn't so much a speed bump as a mountain range. And you really do need low range and four-wheel drive to get over the damn thing. I wouldn't mind, but they were all over the place. And there are other strange things out here too. The only people allowed to have blacked out windows in their cars are women, so they can drive without wearing a veil. The car becomes a sort of full metal yashmak. And then there's crashes. If you have a bump, even if you just graze your bumper, you're not allowed to move your car until the police have been to the scene. Now this can be a real nuisance. If you want to make an insurance claim, you need a police report, which means that even if you're causing a 10-mile jam and you've only got a broken headlamp, you can't move your car. This leads to some ridiculous stories.
A couple of friends had a boat on the back of a pickup truck, and they were sliding the boat into the water quite recently. And the pickup truck sort of got away and went into the water with the boat. And of course, the first thing they did was get the pickup truck out. But in order to get the police report, the police would have wanted to see exactly what had happened, so they had to put the pickup back in again.
Crashing is about the only aspect of life in the Gulf where you don't haggle. Long before the oil, this was a thriving trading post. Dhows plied the seaways between here and Bombay, and merchants dealt in fish, cheese, fridge freezers, gold, hamsters, broccoli. Well, you've got the idea. But it wasn't until they found they were sitting on an ocean of oil that the serious money started to roll in. I'm talking about the sort of money you need to build up a collection of metal like this. All these cars, and dozens more besides, belong to Abu Dhabi's Rainbow Sheikh. He's such a good customer for Mercedes-Benz that when he got married and needed a fleet of S-classes, they stopped the production lines to paint and trim them, even the rifles in the boot. Pretty soon, though, he was bored by mainstream cars, and in 1986, he started to make his own. This was an early attempt, part Volkswagen Beetle, part lunar buggy, part magic carpet. It has no name, so I shall call it the Bird Puller. His latest project is to build a people carrier jet boat so he can get his family to his island in palatial, air-conditioned, Citroën-type splendour. But strangely, his all-time favourite vehicle is the 1950s Dodge Power Wagon. It holds a special place in his heart because it's synonymous, inseparable even, from the oil boom. Early oil prospectors relied on them when they were out in the desert with their divining twigs. And he's so grateful, he's built a monument in its honour. Large, isn't it? You know, I've been around the world 5 times to make this series, and what we have here, in the middle of the Arabian desert, is the most amazing, most sensational, most outlandish, and by far the largest car in the entire world. The wheels are from an oil rig transporter, the wipers from an ocean liner, and the headlights cost £1,000 each. Every detail is exactly 64 times bigger than the American original, a point that becomes blindingly obvious when you step inside. Of course, the big advantage of pickup trucks is they have tailgates, which can be opened. I know that this is the best view I have ever had from the back of a pickup truck. It is very important indeed that I remember to get one of these when the point-to-point season comes round again. In between races, I could pop up to the master bedroom, which is where the cab should be. You know, this is impressive stuff, but it does have one more trick up its sleeve. Underneath, there's an engine, a steering wheel, and crucially, a driver's seat.
I do not believe what I just saw. It moved!
There are so many questions like how and why that I think it's time to meet the man who built it, the Rainbow Shake.
We built all the pieces of this truck, nearly 25 major pieces, in Abu Dhabi, and we take it by truck to here and we assemble it in the desert because we can't assemble it in the city because it's very wide. It's nearly 8 meters wide.
What sort of engine does it have on it?
We have a small engine. It's not very big, but it's to move it only for small distance. It is industrial engine. They call it GM, Detroit Diesel 6-cylinder, but it's not very big.
A truck engine?
300 horsepower.
How much does it weigh?
We don't know exactly, but it's nearly 50 ton maybe.
50 tons.
Most of the time, the desert is indeed empty and quiet and peaceful. And the Sheikh really can be left alone in his own little world. But once a year, the huge expat community in the UAE comes out here for an orgy of incompetence. They call it the Fun Run, and this is the overnight rest halt. There is wine, there is song, and there are women too, but for some extraordinary reason, you rarely see one driving.
There is more people. We are going together, losing together, finding the way. It's very nice.
And regarding the woman driving, I didn't saw anyone up till now, but tomorrow I let her to try. If we're still alive, I'll take her place.
You've never been on one of these before?
No, this is the first time.
So at weekends, do you go out in the desert?
Yes, but I never drive. I am sort of a passenger, and I enjoy the scenery.
It can be dangerous, to go out in the desert on your own, just because you can get into trouble, and it's much safer if you've got a lot of people around you.
Only three things matter: momentum, momentum, and momentum. You just have to take the discomfort in your stride and keep that power on. Never, ever back off. The British way, the way I've always been taught to climb sticky terrain, is this. Stop, analyse, low range, first gear, gentle revs, and then see if it'll pull you up. It doesn't work. Now let me show you the Arabic way, which is just... And we're up. And that is how you get a puncture.
Two problems. First, it's hard to jack a car up in soft sand, and second, I didn't have the key to unlock my spare wheel.
This is funny, right? We went all the way to Iceland. We learned how to put tyres back on the rim just using butane gas, light it, all the business. Have we remembered the butane? No, we have not.
What the marshals did here was bleed air from their spare tyre into my broken one. It was rather clever.
Got some water, got a bottle of water.
Oh, there it goes, there it goes, there it goes.
No,
we gotta go get
see that Wrangler over there?
Yeah. No, you know how to do it, Jarvis. You guys can go and help him.
Oh, got my leg. It's gone. I'm just going to sit down.
A puncture, though, is the least of your worries. When you crest a brow, how do you know what's on the other side?
We're supposed to come from that side. One car was standing here. So he's supposed to drive that side, but he missed the balance and banged the car.
Have you got a wee rope with you? Yeah, he's going to bring it down.
We've got a wee rope.
Oh, have you got a wee rope?
We're going to need a wee rope because the damn thing's as stuck as I don't know what.
Well, we'll just give you a wee snatch and you'll be out.
I shall enjoy that very much.
Yes, I thought you might. You're not really supposed to be walking in the sand, Jeremy. You're supposed to be driving in the sand.
Your job is to pull me out and shut up. Lawrence of Doncaster. I don't get stuck. Much. Eventually, the desert is given back to the birds, which the Arabs like to hunt. In the old days, they'd come out here on camels, but today they prefer the ubiquitous Nissan Patrol. They toughen up the suspension, and because there aren't that many children to run over in the desert, they fit bull bars. However, some people go an awful lot further. This is to the world of hunting vehicles what feta cheese is to the world of Greek cuisine. They've cut away the roof so the hunters have a panoramic view of the prey. They've taken out the carpets and fitted showers so they can wash away the blood and entrails. There's a gun rack should anything meaty come bouncing by. But best and most important of all, it has a V8. The rules work like this. The handler removes the bird's hood. He sees the prey, he gives chase, and I have to keep up. As you may have gathered, this is a tuned 4.5 litre V8. As well it has to be, because that bird has been timed on radar at 280 miles an hour. I really don't want to lose him either, because he's worth more than 3,000 quid. Timing's critical. I've got to get to the spot where he catches his prey at exactly the right moment. If I'm late, he'll be on the coffee and mints. It's weird, isn't it? Speed even plays its part in the oldest sport in Arabia. I tell you what's weirder still, though, despite man's best endeavours, despite limitless petrochemical dollars, he is still the fastest thing in the Gulf. Motorworld. How very appropriate.